Okay, hi everyone. So as part of Roznama series, we are doing the one-liner current affairs that will cover the last 7 days. So the intent is to take you across the important 25 topics that have been touched upon in the last 1 week. So what I want you guys to do is when I'm discussing the topics, we will also look at the static part of it. And that's how we are going to build the foundation of GK. So it's from the current affairs, we're going to pick up a lot of static GK. Okay. And I'm sure some of these topics you must have come across through the newspapers. And I'm also sure that you are watching our daily newspaper analysis in which we are covering 3 to 4 important GK articles. So it's a build up on that, but if you do the the daily GK that we are doing as part of Roznama, you do the one-liners and you do the monthly GK, I think a lot of current affairs and static topics are going to be covered this way. All right. Now today's session will take about 40 to 45 minutes, and without wasting much time, I'll just get on with the topics and we will discuss static topics, related to it. So let's start. So I have some 25 topics for this particular month and for this particular week. And the first topic is the 56th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. Now, what's important is this particular organization here, right? So this was a 56th edition of the World Economic Forum. Spirit of dialogue was the theme of this particular event. So what we need to know here is the static bit of it. So in crisp words, it is an organization which is basically a think tank, and it involves the public and private participation, and a lot of organizations are participating and discussing on various topics that interests, and touches upon the world issues. So 1971, World Economic Forum was set up by a German engineer. His name is Klaus Schwab, right? And in fact, he was the chairman for the longest time, and he retired last year. All right, he retired last year. Okay. Now, it is headed by Larry. So just remember one word, Fink. Right? Larry Fink is the person who's heading the World Economic Forum now. So he's the new chairman of the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum is based in Geneva. Okay, is based in Geneva. So it's a place called Colony, which is part of Geneva, right? So Geneva is where it is based. It was earlier called as the European Management Forum. It was earlier called as the European Management Forum, right? And the name was changed from 1987 onwards. From 1987, this name was changed, right? A very important organization, and it comes with a lot of indexes that we'll be doing. Some of them would be the Global Gender Gap Index, Tourism Index, etc., etc. So we'll be doing this course of this year, these indexes. But right, the important part is that where does the annual meeting take place every year? The meeting takes place in Davos. Okay, Davos is also in Switzerland. In fact, it is, it's one of the hill station in the Alps, and Alps is the longest mountain range in Europe. Okay, so that's World Economic Forum for you. The second important topic for this particular week is 151 years of the Indian Meteorological Department, right? So Indian Meteorological Department was set up on 15th of January 1875, right? Earlier, the headquarters was in Calcutta, then it shifted to Shimla, then from Shimla, it shifted to Pune, right? In 1911, I think, and then 1944, finally, the headquarters is called Mausam Bhavan. is called Mausam Bhavan. So this is what you need to know, right? And this Mausam Bhavan, where is it? It is in Delhi. Okay, it is in Delhi. So earlier it was, when it was set up, it was earlier in Calcutta, which is now called Kolkata, Calcutta. Then it shifted to Shimla, Pune, that you don't need to know. But important thing is, earlier the headquarters was Calcutta when it was founded. Now the headquarters is in Delhi. So basically, weather forecasting is what it does, right? The person who is heading this, or the Director General of IMD, is what you should know. It is Mrityunjay Mahapatra. Okay, Mrityunjay Mahapatra is the Director General of the Indian Meteorological Department. Okay, then so he's also known as the Cyclone Man of India. He's also known as the Cyclone Man of India. Okay, and one more thing that you need to know here is that the person, this comes under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, right? This comes under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and the person who is the Minister of the Ministry of Earth Sciences is Dr. Jitendra Singh. Dr. Jitendra Singh, right? So just the key points I'm telling you as part of this one-line series. Okay, quick snapshot. World Economic Forum set up here 1971. Klaus Schwab was the chairman, who retired last year. He was the chairman, he was a founding chairman, German engineer, 1971 to 2025, and now it's Larry Fink. Okay, and World Economic Forum is basically a global think tank now, and the meeting took place at Davos. The headquarters is in Colony in Geneva. All right, it was earlier called as European Management Forum. It comes with a lot of indexes that we'll be discussing throughout the year. The next one that we did was the Indian Meteorological Department, which started off on the 15th of January 1875, and now it's shifted to Delhi. Mausam Bhavan is the headquarters, and Mrityunjay Mahapatra is the Director General of it. Okay, so these key things you should remember. He's also known as the Cyclone Man of India. It comes under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and Dr. Jitendra Singh is the head of it. The next one. Okay, you must have come across this term called Pax Silica. So see, I want you guys to start researching on these topics. When you do your self-research, it becomes much easier in terms of understanding, right? And you must make notes on the topics that we have flagged here. So that's the best way of learning. It was easiest for me to give you a lot of yarn on Pax Silica and you would have copied it. But if you don't do your, that effort, you will not be able to get all the gyan that's required, the important pointers. What is Pax Silica? It is a US-led initiative, and what it intends to do is, if you look at Pax, this means peace, and what is silica is silicon. And what is the intent here? The intent is that we are trying to get or organize a supply chain of silicon, right, which is an essential commodity for the semiconductor industry. So that's Pax Silica, which is a US-led initiative. They've also invited India to join this group, but so far India has not given a thumbs up to it. Now, what are the important countries that are part of it? You can do your research, but the countries that are part of it are Japan, right? Then you have two countries which have a lot of sovereign funds. One is UAE and the other one is Qatar. Then Australia, because it has got a lot of lithium reserves. Australia, right? Then you have South Korea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Israel, right? And a couple of more countries which are part of it. They've also invited, UK is part of it, Pax Silica. So there are 9 countries, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is one more that I'm missing right now, but just do a little research. What is it about? It is about, the supply chain of what? Of silicon, right? And so integrating AI, critical minerals, and silicon supply chain management. And that is why we have also looked at Australia, because and even Japan is part of it. Okay, I've mentioned that. Yeah. So these are the countries which are part of it. Okay. The next one is a Board of Peace. Now, what is Board of Peace? Board of Peace is again a US-led initiative. What it intends to do is based on the UN Resolution 2083 of the Security Council. Remember this 2083 Security Council resolution, which intended to resolve the Gaza peace conflict, and the 20-point plan which Trump made as part of a peace deal, which was agreed to upon by Israel as well as Hamas. That was in September. So now this Board of Peace initiative is not just for resolving the Gaza conflict and rebuilding Gaza, but also as a global peace initiative process, right? So, I mean, it's again a US-led initiative, and but prominent countries like Canada, Italy, France, UK, even India have not, joined it. In fact, because of Mark Carney's great speech in which he got a standing ovation, in which he spoke about the changing order and the disruption that's happening, especially because of Trump tariffs and threats. Canada, Trump was actually snubbed, and therefore he declined. He said that I'm, taking back the offer of Canada joining the Board of Peace, right? So this initiative was initially meant for rebuilding Gaza, but now the plan is not just Gaza, it is across, and it is Trump-led. He is going to be the lifetime head of this particular organization, and there is a fee for members, which is $1 billion, okay, to be part of it. Okay, Pakistan has joined, Turkey has joined, Egypt has joined. So these are some of the countries. Argentina has joined, some of the countries that have joined the Board of Peace. Okay, I wonder how Pakistan is going to pay $1 billion, which is a membership fee, to join the Board of Peace, right? So Trump-led, and it is not just rebuilding Gaza, it is beyond it. The lifetime head and chairman for this particular group is going to be Donald Trump. So we have to wait and see, after he's not the president of United States of America, what happens. Okay. Well, I feel this is a very important topic for last week, which is the BBNJ. Okay, BBNJ. So what is BBNJ? Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction. So we are talking about, this is also known as the High Seas Treaty. This is also known as the High Seas Treaty. Okay, and what is, and here comes a 30-30 goal. The goal is of 30-30, and what is the 30-30 goal? To save 30% of the sea by 2030. To save 30% of the sea by 2030. So what is the basic logic behind this? The logic behind this is based on UNCLOS. This UNCLOS is 1982. Okay, this is United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. And what it says is that if there is the boundary of India, let's say, or any country for that matter, 12 nautical miles is the territorial sea of that country, where you have complete rights over the sea. Then you have the contiguous zone, which is another nautical miles, which is another, which is still 24 nautical miles here. So this 12 nautical miles is actually the contiguous zone. So this is basically a buffer zone, right? You may not have 100% rights over this particular area. So this acts as a buffer zone. And then you have till 200 nautical miles, which is essentially 370 kilometers, because 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.85 kilometers. This is your exclusive economic zone, right? So there is, and when you have an exclusive economic zone, there is a situation when there could be overlapping. So you don't have territorial rights over that place, but yes, you can do mining, etc. in this particular place. So that's your exclusive economic zone, which is to the extent of 385 kilometers. Okay, 370 kilometers or 200 nautical miles. So when you're talking about high seas treaty, we are talking about area beyond 200 nautical miles or beyond 370 kilometers. So this is basically high seas, और ये high sea किसी को belong नहीं करता. तो यहीं पे बायोडाइवर्सिटी बियॉन्ड नेशनल ज्यूरिसडिक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं. हम इस बायोडाइवर्सिटी को मेंटेन कैसे करें, उसके लिए ये ट्रीटी साइन की गई. ठीक है, और इस ट्रीटी को रेटिफाई करने के लिए 60 कंट्रीज रिक्वायर्ड थे, जो कि पिछले साल 25 सितंबर 2025 में 60वें कंट्री ने उसको रेटिफाई कर दिया. रेटिफाई का मतलब उसके पार्लियामेंट ने उसको पास कर दिया. सिग्नेटरीज और रेटिफिकेशन में एक बेसिक डिफरेंस नहीं होता है. सिग्नेटरी आपके एक्सटर्नल मिनिस्टर्स गए, उन्होंने साइन कर दिया, चलो हम करेंगे, बट कंट्री का अप्रूवल उसके एक पार्लियामेंट्री प्रोसेस से आता है, पार्लियामेंट्री अप्रूवल से आता है. ठीक है, तो ये 25 सितंबर 2025 में हुआ था और उसके 120 दिन के बाद ये अब रैटिफाई हो गया. तो शायद वो तारीख 16 या 17 जनवरी थी, तब ये रैटिफाई हो गया. And the last country to ratify this was Morocco. The last country to so Morocco is a North African country. Other side of Morocco is Spain, and उसके बीच में आता है Strait of Gibraltar, right? तो मोरक्को, ठीक है, तो ये 60वां कंट्री था जिसने इसको ratify किया. So BBNJ is a very important event that has happened. It is now ratified and now it's become a law. ठीक है, तो ये तुम्हारा 5th टॉपिक हो गया. Then नेशनल वोटर्स डे. नाउ नेशनल वोटर्स डे जैसे तुम्हें पता होगा 25 जनवरी 2025 जनवरी को नेशनल वोटर्स डे होता है. ठीक है, और नेशनल वोटर्स डे क्यों होता है? बिकॉज 1950 में इलेक्शन कमीशन का सेटअप हुआ और हमारे पहले चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का नाम था सुकुमार सेन. ठीक है, सुकुमार सेन was the first chief election commissioner. ठीक है, articles 324 and 2329 deal with the election commission of India. ठीक है, और 1989 तक खाली सिंगल इलेक्शन कमिश्नर होते थे. उसके बाद इसको एक्सपैंड कर दिया फ्रॉम 1 to 3. अब आज की डेट में 3 इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स हैं. ठीक है, उस साल जो इलेक्शंस हुए 89 में, उसके बाद से फिर 88 में जो अमेंडमेंट आया उसमें 1 से 3 कर दिया और 3 के बाद वापस से कुछ समय के लिए एक इलेक्शन कमिश्नर कर दिया. फिर 93 ऑनवर्ड्स फिर से 3 इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स हो गए, बट 88 में ये चेंज आ गया. ठीक है, हमें जानने की बात यहाँ पे ये है दैट द सीईसी जो होता है उसका पावर जो है इज इक्विवेलेंट टू अ सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, and he can only be removed from the office, not impeached. Impeachment only president of India का हो सकता है. He can only be removed like a Supreme Court judge. ठीक है, वही प्रोसेस जो एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज के लिए होता है, वही प्रोसेस इनके रिमूवल के लिए होता है. ठीक है, तो ये चीज आप इसका ध्यान रखिएगा. और अभी जो हमारे चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर हैं उनका नाम है ज्ञानेश कुमार. ठीक है, उनका नाम है ज्ञानेश कुमार. और जो 2 इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स हैं उनका नाम है, वन इज सुखबीर सिंह संधू एंड द अदर वन इज विवेक जोशी. ओके, सुखबीर सिंह संधू एंड विवेक जोशी. सो दैट ऑल्सो रिमेंबर दैट, अच्छा, तीनों का जो पावर है इज इक्विवेलेंट टू अ सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, बट सीईसी कैन बी रिमूव्ड बाय ओनली थ्रू द प्रोसेस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट, राइट, which is similar to a Supreme Court judge, which is similar to a Supreme Court judge. बंद करो दरवाजा. Okay, which is equivalent to a Supreme Court judge. Second चीज आप इसमें ध्यान ये रखिएगा that बाकी जो 2 लोग हैं उनको प्रेसिडेंट हटा सकता है. बाकी जो 2 लोग हैं उनको प्रेसिडेंट हटा सकता है. ठीक है, that's about it. That's what you need to know about the National Voters Day. Also, this year they have changed the theme. I think it is My Vote, My India, My Vote. Something like that is the theme for the National Voters Day. और इसका जो हेडक्वार्टर्स है, इट इज निर्वाचन सदन विच इज इन दिल्ली. निर्वाचन सदन विच इज इन दिल्ली. अगेन दिस टॉपिक इज गोइंग टू बी टेकन इन डेप्थ व्हेन वी डू द मंथली वीडियो विथ यू. ठीक है, बट जस्ट रिमेंबर the National Voters Day is 25th of January. Why? Because the Election Commission was set up and we had a first Chief Election Commissioner, Sukumar Sen. Okay? Next. Yes. So I've just put this point because statehood day hai. So 21st of January is the statehood day for Manipur, Tripura and Meghalaya. Okay? So ये आप याद रखिएगा 21st ऑफ जनवरी मणिपुर में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल ही रहा है कुकीज और मैतीज के बीच में अभी तक इट इज नॉट रिजॉल्व देयर इज प्रेसिडेंट रूल देयर ठीक है एंड इफ यू लुक एट इट त्रिपुरा मणिपुर एंड त्रिपुरा दे आर इफ यू जस्ट लुक एट मणिपुर हियर एक साइड में इसके म्यांमार है ऊपर इसके नागालैंड है राइट नीचे इसके मिजोरम है और यहाँ पे इसके असम है सो यू शुड जनरली नो which state is where और इसमें एक बहुत ही हाईएस्ट हम एक साइट है जिसका नाम है लोकतक लेक which we are going to discuss later when it is part of our Ramsar discussion which we are going to do in February. So it is one of the lakes that's mentioned in the Montrex record. So where a lot of human intervention has happened because of which the lake has got there's a disturbance that has happened. That's the reason Montrex record में इसका नाम mentioned है इसका और कालेदियो बर्ड सैंचुरी का. So Manipur is there. You should generally, I mean, just remember the statehood day is 21st of January, right? NDRF day. Now why I mention this is because disaster management becomes important. So two important things that you should know is that the National Disaster Management Authority was set up in the year 2005. ठीक है? National Disaster Management Authority was set up in the year 2005 and the following year 2006 में National Disaster Response Force was formed, right? So any disasters happening, NDRF is what will come into action. At the state level, it will be State Disaster Response Force. ठीक है? और इसमें एक और चीज ये ध्यान रखो that इसको हेड करने वाला at the national level of the disaster management at the national level is always the prime minister. At the state level it is the CM and at a district level it is the district magistrate, right? At the state level it is the district magistrate. Okay, so NDRF day is on the 19th of January. Okay, statehood day of Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, 1971 act and implemented in 1972. These three became states in India. Okay. Then very important personality for last week is Parakram Divas, where we are discussing about the birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose. Birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose. Right. Now you should just know some key facts about Subhash Chandra Bose. You know that he was a freedom fighter. And you should also know that he was also the president of the Indian National Congress in 1938 and 1939. Okay, and 1939 he won the election, but because of the ego issue that we had with Mahatma Gandhi, he had to he left and then formed the forward bloc. Right? And later he joined the Indian National Army, right? Which was started by Mohan Singh, and ultimately in the year 1944 he died in a plane crash. Okay, so the Tripuri Assembly and Haripura. So these are the 2 years that you need to know when he became the president of the Indian National Congress. Okay, the Tripuri session and the Haripura session. Okay, all right. The next one that we need to know, so Parakram Divas is important. In fact, the Republic Day from 2021 they have decided to celebrate the Republic Day from the 23rd of January to the 29th of January when you have the beating retreat, right? So 23rd January is basically the birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose, right? And also he qualified the ICS examination, which is akin to the civil services. But he left it and then he joined the freedom fight. Okay. The 10th topic for today is the Republic Day theme. We are going to discuss again this in detail when we take up the monthly GK, and the next week, the weekly GK that we're going to do. The theme of this is 150 years of Vande Mataram, right? Now, Vande Mataram, 2 stanzas we have taken, and Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, also called as Chatterjee, right? So the first Republic Day was in 1950, and where did we celebrate this? This was the Irwin Stadium, which is called as a Major Dhyan Chand Stadium in Delhi. And in fact, the first 5 Republic Days in 1954 was from the Irwin Stadium, right? And from 1955, they have started celebrating the Republic Day from the Rajpath, right? Rajpath, which is also called as Kartavya Path now, which is also called as Kartavya Path, right? So, and and if you look at it, the first chief guest of the Republic Day was Sukarno, and Sukarno was the president of Indonesia, right? This time they have called the European Union representative. One of them is the president of the European Commission, which is basically the most powerful organization of the 27-member European Union. The executive body of the European Union is the Commission. The president of that is Ursula de Leyen. So she came to India along with Antonio Costa, who is heading the European Council, the head of the European Council, which has all the the country heads, the presidents and the prime ministers of countries. So the person who heads that council, right, is Antonio Costa. So the 2 representatives who have come, right, the head of the European Council and the other person is the head of the Commission, right? They have been invited as the chief guests for this year's Republic Day. Okay, this year's Republic Day. So Sukarno, Ursula de Leyen, right? And the other person is Antonio Costa. Okay, and as you know, European Union headquarters is in Belgium, right? Which is the capital of Brazil. So this is the 10th topic. We are going to discuss this again in detail later. Then they have now the unveiling of, by our external minister Jai Shankar, the unveiling of the BRICS theme and logo has happened, and the logo has a lotus in it, right? And I'll put this question back to you. The theme of BRICS is also BRICS. Okay, and where C stands for cooperation, S stands for sustainability. I want you to put the other 3, right? R is resilience. So you can just do that bit. So the theme is also based on BRICS, where C is for cooperation and S is for sustainability. You can fill in the blank. R is for resilience. I've already given you all. But yeah, just complete the dots, and that's what the BRICS theme for this year is. Now, BRICS, as you know, started in the year 2009. The first meeting was in Russia, right? Initially, it was just BRIC, which was Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And this particular name, BRIC, was coined by Jim O'Neill, a person who was working with Goldman Sachs, right? And then 2010, they invited South Africa, and South Africa joined in the year 2011. Okay, 2011 में South Africa ने join किया, ठीक है? At the 15th BRICS Summit, which was now, so now it becomes South Africa also. At the 15th BRICS Summit, they sent invitation to 6 more countries, right? 6 more countries that were UAE, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and Egypt and Ethiopia. Okay, they sent invitation to 6 countries at the 15th BRICS Summit, which was held in South Africa. right? And Argentina rejected this. They had a new government then, so Argentina rejected it. Millers was the new prime minister of Argentina. He said, I don't want to be part of BRICS. But the other five, UAE, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Ethiopia, are now part of BRICS. So after the BRICS, 15th BRICS summit, the number went from 5 plus 5 and it became 10. The 17th BRICS summit was at Rio in Brazil, and this year they invited Indonesia to join, and now Indonesia is part of this particular group. So now the number goes to 11. So now it is 10 plus 1, and the number is 11. So BRICS has now 11 members, with the latest member being Indonesia, right? Being Indonesia. Okay, so I've already told you the theme for this is also BRICS. The word is cooperation, sustainability in the end. Logo has a lotus to it. Okay, the next one, I've just flagged this because the mention of IMF was there, and this particular percentage is not that important, but IMF has basically they're positive and very gung-ho about the Indian economy, and they have increased the expectation that they have of India's gross domestic products growth. So, so what we need to learn here is about IMF, right? So IMF and World Bank are also known as Bretton Woods twins. So it was a Bretton Woods conference in the year 1944 that led to the formation of IMF, the World Bank, and the International Trade Organization. These three organizations were set up. So ITO is defunct, right? Which is the International Trade Organization, because US did not participate. It ran for a few years, but since US was not participating, then it dropped out, and this gave birth to GATT, GATT, General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, and then this also ended on 1st January 1995. This became World Trade Organization. But International Monetary Fund is basically the banker of last resort. So any country that's having a balance of payment crisis, when they don't have enough foreign exchange, that's when IMF steps in, right? If they are part of the IMF. And World Bank is for development activities. So it's actually the World Bank group, and it has got organizations within it. So there are 5 organizations within the World Bank group. But IMF is essentially, there are 191 countries part of it. There are 191 countries which are part of IMF, and 190 countries which are part of World Bank. So only if you are part of IMF would you be part of World Bank. So one criteria to be part of World Bank will be to be part of IMF. Okay? Will be part of IMF. Right? What are the important things that we need to know about IMF? Is the headquarters of both IMF and World Bank is in Washington DC, and Kristalina Georgieva, she's a Bulgarian economist. She's the one who is heading it. Okay, Kristalina Georgieva is the Bulgarian economist who is heading it. All right. Next, what we need to know about IMF is that Urjit Patel is the executive director who's representing India. Urjit Patel, he is a former RBI governor. Okay, Urjit Patel. So the executive director from India, executive director from India is Urjit Patel. Okay, he was a 24th RBI governor, and uske baad aaye Shaktikant Das as 25th RBI governor, and after Shaktikant Das, it was now is Sanjay Malhotra. So Urjit Patel was RBI governor when demonetization took place in 2016. Okay, and you should know about Kristalina Georgieva, who is the IMF managing director, Indian who has reached the highest position in IMF is deputy managing director post, and her name is Geeta Gopinath. Her name is Geeta Gopinath. Okay, she has retired a couple of months ago from the post of deputy managing director of IMF. Now she's a professor at the Harvard, but yes, this is the highest position that India has ever achieved at the International Monetary Fund. Okay, in IMF you have a quota system. So based on the quota system, you can the decision making is based on the quota that you have. Okay, so quota is the amount of money that a country has essentially put into IMF. So in this, USA has got maximum quota, more than 17% is US, you know, and India is at 8th position here, and India's quota is about 2.7% plus. So this keeps fluctuating, but yes, USA has got the maximum quota in it at 17%, and India is at 8th position at 2.7%. Okay. Now, if you look at how IMF is, how the assets are, kept in IMF is in the form of something known as SDR, which is known as a special drawing rights. And this is a mix of 5 currencies, which is dollar, pound, euro, renminbi. So renminbi is the currency of China, yeah. And then you have yen, right, which is Japan. Okay, yuan is not the currency of China. Okay, so yuan is basically paisa, and rupees is renminbi. So that way you can associate the analogy. So renminbi is China, yen is Japan, euro is the European Union, pound is UK, and dollar. तो ये 5 currencies का amalgamation है, which is how SDR is a special drawing rights. तो IMF में special drawing rights के terms में पैसे को रखा जाता है, और ये artificial currency नहीं है. This is not an artificial currency. This is just how money or quota system is kept in IMF. ठीक है, SDR याद रखना, and SDR is not equal to artificial currency. It is not artificial currency. ठीक है, there is a quota system here. All right, so that's about IMF. अच्छा, क्योंकि हमने यहाँ ब्रिक्स मेंशन किया है, I will also mention this that ब्रिक्स में भी बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट क्राइसिस के लिए एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जिसका नाम है कॉन्टेंजेंसी रिजर्व अरेंजमेंट. कॉन्टेंजेंसी रिजर्व अरेंजमेंट, ठीक है. अगर कोई कंट्री को बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट क्राइसिस है तो इन्होंने $100 बिलियन का कॉर्पस डाला हुआ है, जिसमें इंडिया का कुछ 18% है, और डबल इसका पैसा आप ले सकते हैं अगर आपकी कंट्री में बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट का क्राइसिस आ रहा है. ये इसका हेडक्वार्टर्स पोर्टजिला ब्राजील में इसका हेडक्वार्टर्स. उसी तरह जैसे वर्ल्ड बैंक है, तो ब्रिक्स के लिए जो बैंक है वो है न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक, एनडीबी, जिसका हेडक्वार्टर शंघाई में है. ठीक है, तो डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज के लिए होता है न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक, जिसके हेडक्वार्टर्स कहाँ पे है? शंघाई में. ठीक है, और इसमें नॉट जस्ट ब्रिक्स के मेंबर्स हैं, इसमें कुछ अदर मेंबर्स भी हैं जो ब्रिक्स का पार्ट नहीं है, जैसे कि बांग्लादेश, उज्बेकिस्तान, अल्जीरिया, उरुग्वे, कोलंबिया. दीज आर पार्ट ऑफ द न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक, बट दे आर नॉट मेंबर्स ऑफ ब्रिक्स. ठीक है, इस साल के लिए ब्रिक्स इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक बिकॉज इंडिया इज होस्टिंग दिस मीटिंग दिस ईयर. ठीक है, तो तुम देखो क्या चीज है, हमने ब्रिक्स को पकड़ा, हमने ब्रिक्स का थोड़ा स्टैटिक कर लिया, हमने आईएमएफ को पकड़ा फ्रॉम अ करंट अफेयर्स न्यूज, और आईएमएफ को थोड़ा सा इन डेप्थ देख लिया. यस, so again, Sunita Williams retirement, this was in news, and what are the key points that we need to know here is that she is of course Indian origin. She has got the maximum spacewalk का record, 62 hours 6 minutes का record. ठीक है, और I'm sure you must be aware of this, that she got stuck in space last year because जो बोइंग स्टारलाइनर से वो गई थी, वहां पे जब वो डॉक कर गया उसमें कुछ माल फंक्शन हो गए, जिसके कारण एट द इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन, एंड the Boeing Starliner, she could not come back, and therefore she had to stay there for more than 286 days, and then she came by SpaceX का Crew 9 ड्रैगन कैप्सूल से वापस आई. तो सुनीता विलियम्स का जो सबसे पहला स्पेस मिशन था, दैट वाज STS-116. ठीक है, तो सुनीता विलियम्स बिकम्स क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, तो सुनीता विलियम्स रिटायरमेंट, एंड कहाँ पे काम कर रही थी? नासा में. व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ नासा? नेशनल एरोनॉटिक्स स्पेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. ठीक है, नेशनल एरोनॉटिक्स स्पेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. इसका हेडक्वार्टर्स कहाँ पे है? इसका हेडक्वार्टर्स है वॉशिंगटन डीसी. ठीक है, कब सेटअप हुआ है? 1958 में. एंड हु हेड्स इट? आइजैक मैन. ठीक है, so this key points about NASA, नेशनल एरोनॉटिक स्पेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन याद रखना. और सुनीता विलियम्स का रिटायरमेंट है, तो हमने उसको लिंक कर लिया. कई किस्से थी ये बोइंग स्टारलाइनर से, और वापस 286 दिन के बाद आई स्पेसएक्स के. ठीक है, स्पेसएक्स के क्रू 9 मिशन से. ठीक है, स्पेसएक्स के मिशन से वापस आई थी. एक तरह से, I mean, once she got stuck, and that's why she had to be brought back along with Butch Wilmore. The other person who got stuck with her was Butch Wilmore. Right? Her first sortie was STS-116. Then, so you can read about Sunita Williams because Indian origin hai, and you must actually know about the Indians who have done, Indians and Indian origin who have done so well. The first one was Rakesh Sharma. Call leader Rakesh Sharma. This was in the year 1984 April. He was the first person from India to go into the space by a USSR-led mission, Soyuz T-11. Soyuz T-11. The second person to go into the space was Kalpana Chawla. Okay, again, girl from Hisar, Peck, Punjab Engineering College, and then she, so 1997, तो कोलंबिया डिस्कवरी से she went. तो कोलंबिया डिस्कवरी. ठीक है, एंड फाइनली 2003 में इनका STS-85 था, जो पहला क्रू था. कल्पना चावला. सो यू शुड नो अबाउट कल्पना चावला. Right? We have already done Sunita Williams now, and the fourth person who has got Ashok Chakra this time, the second highest honor that's given. I mean, the first, if you look in terms of hierarchy, is the Paramveer Chakra. Then you have the Ashok Chakra. In fact, peace time का सबसे highest award उनको मिला है अभी, and that's Subhanshu Shukla. Subhanshu Shukla. Okay. Now a group captain, so he's serving in the Indian Air Force. Subhanshu Shukla, he belongs to Lucknow, right? And so he was part of the AXIM-4 mission. AXIM-4 mission, right? अच्छा, अगर तुमसे पूछे who holds the record of maximum space time among women? Maximum space time. So maximum space time among women is Peggy Whitson. इनका मैक्सिमम स्पेस टाइम, राइट? और सुनीता विलियम का मैक्सिमम स्पेस वॉक टाइम है, तो दोनों में डिफरेंस है. इनफैक्ट जो AXIM-4 मिशन था, उसकी जो ग्रुप कमांडर थी और जो चीफ थी, वो थी पेगी विटसन, राइट? एंड इट वाज अ टोटल ऑफ क्रू ऑफ 4. द पायलट वाज शुभांशु शुक्ला. ठीक है, उसके अलावा दो लोग और थे. One was from Hungary and the other one was from Poland, right? So Skolas and Tudros, there were two of them. So totally there were 4 people in the AXIM-4 mission. Okay. The next point that I mentioned here is the first person from India to win a medal in badminton, right? In the Olympics is Saina Nehwal, right? She's the only Indian amongst the women to have world #1 ranking in badminton. Saina Nehwal till date. So at the 2012 Olympics in London, She won a bronze, right? She won a bronze at the 2012 Olympics. ठीक है? और इसके बाद मेडल मिला था पीवी सिंधु को, and she got a silver at the Rio Olympics in 2016. 2016 में पीवी सिंधु को 2016 में मिला था silver, and then at 2020 Tokyo. So because of COVID, it was played in 2021. PV Sindhu got a bronze medal, right? But the first person to get was Saina Nehwal. Now, since we're discussing about women, we should also know that the first Indian to win a medal in the Olympics, right? First Indian is Karnam Maheshwari. Okay, Karnam Maheshwari. Karnam. तुम लोग स्पेलिंग देख लेना. Karnam Maleshwari, not Maheshwari, Maleshwari, right? She was the first Indian to get it in powerlifting or weightlifting. Okay, and this was in 2000. 2000 का जो Olympics था, that was in Sydney, right? And yeah, and that's it. First silver was PV Sindhu. Amongst the women, still we don't have a gold medal. ठीक है? Amongst the men, post independence, the first person to get Olympic medal was KD Jadhav. KD Jadhav, amongst the men, he got in 1952 Helsinki Olympics. Helsinki में जो फिनलैंड का कैपिटल है, वहां पे जो ओलंपिक्स हुआ था, वहां पे 1952 में उनको मिला था ब्रॉन्ज मेडल. एंड द फर्स्ट इंडियन टू गेट अ सिल्वर मेडल इन द ओलंपिक्स was 2004 में कर्नल राघवेंद्र राठौर, right? He got it for double trap shooting. He later retired from the army and he also served as a minister in the BJP government when it was formed in 2014. So Colonel Raghvendra Rathore, right? And then 2008 में जो Olympics हुआ था बीजिंग में, we got a first gold medal and that was Abhinav Bindra. That was Abhinav Bindra. ठीक है? So this is our first, second, third amongst the men and first, second, third amongst the women. In fact, gold तो मिला नहीं है women में. ठीक है? तो ये साइना नेहवाल का रिटायरमेंट हो गया. Which game is she associated with? She is associated with badminton. ठीक है? अच्छा, by the way, जो वर्ल्ड बैडमिंटन काउंसिल है, उसकी वन ऑफ द मेंबर्स इज पीवी सिंधु और उसका जो हेडक्वार्टर्स है दैट इज इन कुआलालंपुर इन मलेशिया, द वर्ल्ड बैडमिंटन एसोसिएशन. ओके, मोर फ्रॉम स्पोर्ट्स. विजय हजारे ट्रॉफी, ये किसके लिए खेला जाता है? दिस इज अ वन डे टूर्नामेंट. ये शुरू हुआ है 1993 से. इट वाज अर्लियर कॉल्ड एज रणजी वन डे. ठीक है, इट वाज अर्लियर कॉल्ड एज रणजी वन डे. एंड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम विदर्भ has defeated Saurashtra. Okay, when I say Vidarbha, it is basically Maharashtra, right? And when I say Saurashtra, it is Gujarat. So for the first time, Vidarbha has defeated Saurashtra. ठीक है? So Vijay Hazare Trophy is related to what? It's related to cricket. What format? One day format. When I say one day, it's a 50 over match. ठीक है? So Vidarbha has won it. When it started, 1993. Vijay Hazare again is a former Indian player, Test cricketer. Then we come to 92nd chess grandmaster. Okay, so in chess grandmaster, the person who has become the 92nd chess grandmaster of India is Aryan. Okay, Aryan Vashne has become the 92nd chess grandmaster of India. ठीक है? 92nd chess grandmaster is Aryan. 91st भी रोहित करके है कोई, रोहित कृष्णा or something, रोहित from Tamil Nadu, and Aryan is from New Delhi. Okay, so ये भी याद रखना that इंडिया में अभी तक 4 ग्रैंड मास्टर्स हैं जो कि विमेन हैं, और सबसे पहली वुमेन जो ग्रैंड मास्टर बनी. और a grand master who is a female, for a grand master, one of the necessities is that you need a 2500 EO points. The first one from India was Humpy then was Harika, then was Praganan's sister, R. Vaishali, and she in fact was the 83rd Grandmaster of India. And then finally we had the 88th Grandmaster of India, who went on to win the FIDE Women's World Championship, right? Her name is uh, her name is क्या एकदम से मैं Divya Deshmukh. Her name is Divya Deshmukh, right? Similarly, the first Grandmaster from India was 1988 में विश्वनाथन आनंद. ठीक है, उसी तरह याद रखना फिडे, राइट, ये सेटअप हुआ है 1924 में. इसका हेडक्वार्टर्स जो है फिडे का पहले पेरिस में था, अभी इट इज इन स्विट्जरलैंड, इट लुजियान. ओके, लुजियान ऐसा जगह है जहां पे मोर देन 60 स्पोर्टिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का हेडक्वार्टर्स है. एंड वेयर इज लुजियान? लुजियान इज इन स्विट्जरलैंड. ठीक है, ये 1924 में सेटअप हुआ है, हेडक्वार्टर्स है लुजियान स्विट्जरलैंड में फिडे का. इसका जो हेड है, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ फिडे इज अकाडी डोकोविच, आरकैडी डोकोविच. अकाडी, तुम लोग स्पेलिंग देख लेना, अकाडी डोकोविच. ठीक है, और जो इसका डेप्यूटी प्रेसिडेंट है, और या नंबर 2 में जो है वहां पे, इज विश्वनाथन आनंद, राइट? Vishwanathan Anand was India's first Grandmaster. I've already mentioned 1988, and he was the first person to receive the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratan Award in the year 1991. Now, Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratan Award is called as Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratan Award. So, the first recipient of the Khel Ratan Award in India was Vishwanathan Anand, who right now is a deputy president of FIDE. ठीक है, सो मोर ऑन दिस लेटर. चेस में बहुत बातें हो जाएंगी. अब अगर तुमसे बाय द वे पूछे कि विजय लक्ष्मी द फर्स्ट वुमेन ग्रैंड मास्टर कौन है, तो वो विजय लक्ष्मी होगी. तो वुमेन ग्रैंड मास्टर के लिए 2300 पॉइंट चाहिए होते हैं, बट अ ग्रैंड मास्टर हु इज अ वुमेन, उसमें 2500 पॉइंट्स का मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया है. तो वो तुम्हें मैंने अलग से बता दी. ठीक है, देन द ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन हैज स्टार्टेड. वी आर ऑल सीइंग दिस one of the Grand Slam. This is the first Grand Slam that happens. And Australian Open होने के बाद आता है French Open, उसके बाद आता है Wimbledon, और उसके बाद आता है US Open. तो Australian Open जो है वो रॉड लेवर स्टेडियम में खेला जाता है, और ये एक हार्ड कोर्ट में खेला जाता है, हार्ड कोर्ट में. ठीक है, तो इट्स हार्ड कोर्ट. तो हार्ड कोर्ट जो है एक सिंथेटिक कोर्ट होता है. ठीक है, ये और यूएस ओपन भी हार्ड कोर्ट में खेला जाता है. ठीक है, and also remember that this is the also called as Rod Laver Stadium. और ये कहाँ पे है? ये मेलबर्न में. मेलबर्न is the capital of one of the states of Australia, which is Victoria. ठीक है, so capital of Victoria is Melbourne. मेलबर्न में रॉड लेवर स्टेडियम में ऑस्ट्रेलियन ओपन होता है. ठीक है, and what we need to know here is that the person who has won maximum number of Australian Open is Novak Djokovic. And amongst the women, the person who has won the maximum in the professional era is Serena Williams. Okay, is Serena Williams. So Serena Williams in women and Novak Djokovic. Okay, so last year's winner Jannik Sinner has won 2 back-to-back Australian Opens, and he is going to be defending his title. Let's see who wins. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are expected to meet in the finals. Personally, I want that Djokovic, who is sitting at all-time high of 24 Grand Slams, to win one more and, you know, create record of sorts. So Australian Open is also the last Grand Slam to start. The first Grand Slam to start was the Wimbledon, which is played on the grass court in the year 1877. Then in 1881, it was US Open, which is played on the hard court, I've already mentioned. And then came the French Open in the year 1890. The French Open started, which is played at the Roland Garros in Paris. And then finally in 1905, the Australian Open started. So remember that order, right? So also remember the person who wins all the slams, slams and the Olympic medal also, the same calendar year, is called the Golden Slam. It's called as the Golden Slam. Okay, until date, only one person has won the Golden Slam, and that is Steffi Graf. Okay, so that's Australian Open. We are going to again discuss this in detail later once we have the winners for men and women, right? So we'll see. Okay. So last year winner was Jannik Sinner and Madison Keys. This year I expect again Jannik Sinner to win the finals, and amongst the women, I think it should be Ariana Sabalenka, but we have to wait and watch. The matches are on, and the coming Sunday will be the finals. Okay, now I think we are getting the semi-finals lineup. Carlos Alcaraz has reached, and I think Novak Djokovic has also reached the semi. So we'll just wait and watch on this. Indira Gandhi Disarmament Prize. So Peace and Disarmament Prize is it's Peace and Disarmament Prize. ठीक है? तो ये जो award है ये 1986 से दिया जाता है in memory of Indira Gandhi, and this particular trust is headed by Sonia Gandhi, and 1 crore is the award that's given, and this year it has gone to a Mozambique human right activist. Her name is Graça Michelle. Okay, so you can just check the spelling once. Graça Michelle is a person who has got the Indira Gandhi Disarmament Prize, and this award started in the year 1986. The recipient of the first award in the year 1987 was Parliamentarians for Global Action, right? And 2025, this particular award went to this former president of Chile, Michelle Barnett, former president of Chile, and she was also the person to head the UN. She was also the first person to head UN Women. Her name is Michelle. Let it just recall Michelle Bartnet or something. So let me just recall that name again. Bachelet. Michelle Bachelet was the person who got it last year, and this year it is Graça Michelle. Oh, last year as it is not very important, but Graça Michelle. Last year was Chilean President Michelle Bachelet, and this year it is Graça Michelle. She's from which country? Mozambique. So this particular award was announced, right? Then a couple of military exercises. Exercise Dosti and BRICS plus naval exercise. Now, exercise Dosti, this is basically an exercise which is of the Coast Guards, and 3 countries are part of this. You should know the countries which are part of it. One is India, of course. The other one is Maldives, and the third one is Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka. So these are the 3 countries which are participating in exercise Dosti. What I want you to do is check which edition is this. Check which edition is this. Okay, and it is the Coast Guard. It is the Coast Guard that does it. Right. Also remember, India does an exercise with Maldives that is called as Ecuvirin. Okay. So this is a military exercise that it does with Maldives every year. It is called as Ecuvirin. Right? And India also does a naval exercise with Maldives, which is called as Ekatha. Okay? With Sri Lanka, we do an exercise called Slynex. Sri Lanka India naval exercise. Okay? अच्छा, ये BRICS plus naval exercise news में था because India did not participate in it, and some people made a lot of fun on this that India has become weak because of US pressure. That I don't think so. It was anything like that. So this is an exercise that doesn't happen any year. This is the first time that they are doing this, and the theme for this was Will for Peace, and it was primarily led by China, Russia, and South Africa. Okay, and I think UAE also participated. Iran participated in this. Okay, so 3 of these countries are anti-US, and in fact, South Africa also. US has thumbed it the wrong way. The next G20 that is going to happen in USA this year, Trump has already said that since South Africa is a part of G20, that South Africa is not invited to the G20 meeting in USA. So basically, if you look at it, all of them are anti-US. So BRICS plus naval exercise was organized. Where it was organized? It was organized in South Africa. Okay. All right. So this is the Apada Prabandhan Award, and this is basically nothing but the Disaster Management Award, right? And it is given in the individual category, and it is given in the institution category. तो यहाँ पे 5 लाख रुपए दिए जाते हैं, इसमें 51 लाख रुपीस दिए जाते हैं. इसमें जो बंदी को मिला है, her name has Sita something, or in the institution category, it has gone to the Sikkim Disaster Management Authority. Sikkim Disaster Management Authority. See, that's how I remember names. कि आपको पूरा नाम नहीं याद रखना. You look at the option. So individual category में it's gone to Sita something. I don't have to remember the name, entire name. Sita is fine for me. I look for the option and check, crack it. You can just do a little research on it. Or institution वाली category में it has gone to the Sikkim Disaster Management. ठीक है? तो basically disaster management के लिए award दिया जाता है. Khelo India Winter Games have started, and Khelo India Winter Games कहाँ पे हो रहा है? It is going to be in Leh, and it is also going to be in JNK. जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में कहाँ पे? कश्मीर में गुलमर्ग में होगा. तो 2 एडिशंस में होता है, 2 फेजेस में होता है, और इसका जो मैस्कॉट है वो है शीनेशी. ठीक है, शीनेशी इट इज नथिंग बट द स्नो लेपर्ड. ठीक है, लास्ट टाइम द विनर्स ऑफ खेलो इंडिया विंटर गेम्स वाज द इंडियन आर्मी, एंड दिस वाज फॉलोड बाय हिमाचल प्रदेश. So let's see what happens this year. So snow leopard is the mascot for this. In fact, Ladakh has got the maximum snow leopard population in India. It has got 477 snow leopards in India. ठीक है, तो ये याद रखना. That's it. Khelo India Winter Games. This is going to be in Leh and Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. Why is Hope Island is news? In news because Chandrababu Naidu has announced that they are going to be building a space port here. Okay, satellite launch port here. ठीक है, so Hope Island का नाम इसलिए आया because satellite launch port यहाँ पे आ रहा है. It is 600 kilometers away from Sriharikota, which is Satish Dhawan space launch center से 600 किलोमीटर दूर एक होप आइलैंड करके जगह है आंध्र प्रदेश में, बाहर में, मतलब इट्स एन आइलैंड वेयर दे आर गोइंग टू बी बिल्डिंग second port for India, which is the space satellite launch port. In fact, the third, there is one which is coming up in Tuticorin. Yeah, so this is the third one that is going to come up, and this is Andhra Pradesh. Then Sinner is the most nominated. Oscars are going to start, so probably end of Jan and second week of February तक ये हो जाएगा. And Sinner को 16 nominations मिले हैं इस साल. So Oscars is ठीक है, Oscars started in the year 1929, and Sinner has got the maximum nominations till date. ठीक है, Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Science ये ऑर्गेनाइज कराता है. 1929 में शुरू हुआ था. और बाकी ऑस्कर्स के बारे में बस इतना याद रखना दैट अभी तक बेन-हर, टाइटैनिक और लॉर्ड ऑफ द रिंग्स को अभी तक मैक्सिमम ऑस्कर्स मिले हैं 11 ईच. ठीक है, तो अभी न्यूज में ये आया था कि सिनर को अभी तक मैक्सिमम नॉमिनेशंस टिल डेट मिले. ठीक है, सिनर को अभी तक मैक्सिमम नॉमिनेशंस टिल date मिले. Right? And the last news is Maria Corina Machado, who's also the winner of Nobel Peace Prize for last year. She has handed over her prize, the Nobel Prize, to to Donald Trump for his action in Venezuela, where through the special forces had gone there, and their president Nicolas Maduro was in a way kidnapped, and he's been brought to USA. So anyway, so Maria Corina, She was the winner of last year's Nobel Prize, okay, for peace. And Nobel Committee was very quick in announcing that you can always give your trophy or whatever, but the Nobel Prize is in your name and that cannot be erased. Okay. And whatever you want to do with your award, you can just give it to any person that you want to. But the Nobel Prize will always be will remain in your name. Remember one thing, that this particular peace prize is given by the Norwegian Parliament. Okay, is given by the Norwegian Parliament. And Nicolas Maduro was the dictator in Venezuela, right? And Maria Corina is an activist who fought elections against him, and then she had to finally actually run away. It was said that the voting was fixed, and Nicolas Maduro was able to win the elections, and the Western countries, they never recognized his government, and they thought that Nicolas Maduro was part of various, uh, you know, uh, various rackets related to drugs that was being imported to USA. Okay, so Venezuela, the capital of Venezuela is Caracas. From where he was picked up. Nobel Prize started in the year 1895. This was Sir Alfred Will. Sir Alfred's death happened, and Nobel Prize was part of his will. The first Nobel Prize was given in 1901, and for peace, it was given to Henry Dunant. Okay, the first prize was given to Henry Dunant and Frederick Passy. Right? These were the first winners. Henry Dunant was the founder of the Red Cross Society, right? And from India, for peace, there are two people who have got it. One is Mother Teresa, right, who got it in 1979, and the other one was Kailash Satyarthi in the year 2014, who got it along with the youngest winner of Nobel Prize, Malaya Yousaf. Okay, so just remember these small things. So these are some top 25 news for this particular week, and I think you've got a lot of pointers to work on. I feel you should do personality mapping of Subhash Chandra Bose, right? You should also learn about Oscars, because that's an award that's coming up. The important days, that is National Voters Days, is important. Parakram Divas becomes important, right? And just make a note of these topics. IMD is a very important topic. World Economic Forum becomes quite important. Pax Silica, Board of Peace, we'll see how it goes. But yes, we know broadly what it is meant for. This is meant for Silicon. This is supposedly an initiative parallel to US. So where Trump is the all-time director. BBNJ becomes a very important topic to deal with. National Voters Day, I've already told you. So the CEC becomes very important topic. Not a very important topic, Statehood Day, you can actually skip. NDRF, what is important here is the National Disaster Management Authority. It was set up in the year 2005. That becomes important. Parakram Divas is important. Republic Day, we are going to take in detail later. BRICS as a topic for this year's CLAT is extremely important, and AILET also. So, I have already given you a little brief about it, but in the monthly video, we're going to cover this in detail. IMF, again, I've given you snapshot about IMF, Christiana Georgieva, Geeta Gopinath, Urjit Patel, all these people. Sunita Williams' retirement, I told you about the Boeing Starliner and the crew line mission, she was got back. Sana Nehwal's retirement, dealing with badminton. We also discuss about the Ashok Chakra here. We are going to discuss Ashok Chakra in detail in next week's video, right? Which has gone to Subhanshu Shukla. Vijay Hazare is with which sport? It could be a one-liner. It is with cricket. Then we'll keep adding the chess grandmasters. In fact, the largest number of chess grandmasters are in Russia, followed by US. Australian Open is going on, so we'll get to know the winner by next week. So when I take the next week weekly video, I'm going to cover the Australian Open in detail. Indira Gandhi Disarmament Prize, Gracia Michel from Mozambique has got it, and I've given you a little bit of pointers on it. Started in the year 1986. parliamentarians for global action won it last time. Okay. Then a couple of military exercises. Again, we'll have a special session on all the military exercises. This was the first time that BRICS Plus exercise was organized, and India did not participate in it, but Iran, China, Russia, UAE, right, participated in this, and even South Africa. This was organized in South Africa. Dosti is India, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. I've told you about this award, Sita and Sikkim Disaster Management. Winter Games have started, so let's see who the winner is. Snow Leopard is the logo for this, is the mascot. Hope Island is where we are building a satellite launching center, which is in Andhra Pradesh, off the coast of Andhra Pradesh. Abhi tak sabse zyada nominations, 16 nominations. And finally, handing over her Nobel Prize to Trump for what he did with Nicolas Maduro, getting him off Venezuela, right? So Trump is up to so many things. So he'll be in news for sure in 2026. So guys, that was the weekly GK. And I hope you enjoyed this session. And if you have liked it, please do give your thumbs up here. And you could write a few comments also how you like the session. It will help us improvise and be better the next time that we're taking. So from the CLAT-Possible family, thank you very much.